All right. Welcome back to Black Label Closers, an organization dedicated to help people become highly effective in the art of closing high ticket products and services. My name is Jader. I'm the founder of Black Label Closers, and I'm here on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week we had technical difficulties. Something went wrong, and it shut the live off, and I decided to put that for editing purposes, and then we're gonna unleash that video or publish that video at some point. We have a great live today, great training, and we already have someone popping up. Rose, thank you very much for coming. Greetings. Wonderful. We'll have more people as we go through this. All right, perfect. So today we're going to talk about a very specific topic that, Yogi, how are you? That that most people never have the time or take the time of the presence of mind to explain these to high ticket salespeople, sellers, and closers that are new to the game. Even people that are, maybe you've been in the game for a few years and you've never had to deal with this type of behavior with certain companies because you had a good run, and now you're getting back in the market to find a company. I want you to understand that when you have the power to convince people that something is worth paying for, investing in, that's like Spider-Man, right? That's a lot of power. The more power, the more responsibility you have to have. Now, if your moral compass is centered as mine, you would stay away from working with companies that are shady. And obviously, if they're shady, they're going to be shady all around. Guys, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people selling something, some course online, right? And every single one of those people feel that their expertise and knowledge is worth a lot of money, right? Some are, all right, having been in this industry for 25 years, I know that there's a lot of good services out there that people should pay. If you want to learn how to generate profits, then you want to learn how to be effective in whichever area you want to learn, then you have to pay for someone to teach you that, because nobody's going to teach you how to make money for free, right? Unless you're bringing something to the table, right? Money, intellectual value. Mars, welcome on board. So it is important that you understand that how to protect yourself from these companies. So the title of today is "How do companies rip you off?" How do companies in the field of high ticket sales rip you off? All right. So we're going to talk about that. I want you to look out for this because this is very important for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right. Perfect. So the first one is, you got to be smart. You got to do research on a company. Don't, and this happens to everybody, especially if you're excited about, or you've been, out of work for some time, and, you're running low on gas and you need to get a company to work for, and you haven't been hired, or you haven't found your niche, or something is going on, or you don't have enough training, so they can keep firing you, whatever. And then a company shows the interest in you, and you're very excited to get hired, and then you forget that you need to make sure that you work for the right company. If you're going to take people's money, it better be with a company that will fulfill responsibly, ethically, right? And look, guys, even with companies that are ethical and companies that are responsible in the fulfilling, still people are going to pay $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, and a lot of, if you typically people that pay $50,000, they're more, the level of seriousness that they have is a little bit more. It's a little more. It's a little stronger. People pay $10,000, $15,000 for some reason. A lot of them just drop the ball. They lose interest and they rather pay back the money to the bank or whatever, or lose the money because even though they're associated or working with a company that is, ethical, most students, most people go as far as investing money for intellectual property and never use it. So that's not the company's fault. And you got to be careful when you bring people in. That's the reason why you got to be selective. I mean, this is no joke, guys. If you're not selective, you're going to put people through the system that will not do the work, and then they're going to blame your company. And if your company has a lot of those people, you might start getting in trouble. The company that you work for, should remedy that problem, but you should be part of the process of helping avoid that problem, right? Go through, if you find that someone is really difficult, even if you are blanking for the week and that person that your prospect is being really difficult, demanding, you got to do things my way. And a lot of salespeople, that's why we're going to have actually the webinar, the live training last week that went south was about this, and I'm going to do it on Thursday again. What's the difference between salespeople and closers, right? So salespeople will bend over backwards to get someone's money. Closers don't, especially because closers make a lot of money, so they don't need to be begging or bending over backwards. Customers have to be educated, all right? We're not here to serve you. We're not here to be your servants. We're here to serve you, right? They're two different principles. Serve people, but don't be people's servants. That's a different story, all right? So they have to understand that they have to respect the process, and someone is going to be a pain in the butt, send them off, because they're going to come back and claim a refund, and you're going to have to pay back if it's within the time, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, all right? So once you get a company, it doesn't matter how excited you are, do the research, make sure the company, don't think of reviews as the Bible principle for you to judge a company if it's good or bad, because people are going to complain no matter what, right? You probably have people that know you and people that probably do not like you. And if they had the system allows them to talk bad about you every time they don't get their way with you, they're going to post negative comments about you, right? He didn't call me back, or he ghosted me on WhatsApp, right? Things like that. He's a conceited person or whatever. So you gotta make a determination what's going to be important to you as far as the morality of that company, as far as the ethical behavior of that company. To me, one simple thing is, has these people been in lawsuits? Have they been investigated by the FTC or FBI? Is the principal of the company ever been in jail for, if the principal of the company went to jail for a DUI, that's irresponsible. You take into consideration how long it has been. But if it's embezzling money or, racketeering or, drug smuggling or whatever, that's going to change the entire scene. Scamming people, that's obviously. So do the research, make sure the company has some, a lot of shady companies do not post a phone number, right, on their website. And if they do, you go to Better Business Bureau and they have a phone number. Typically, that phone number doesn't work. It's not belong. Now, some companies are legitimate, and then what they do is they forget to update the phone number. So you got to be smart about this, right? But if you find investigations, FTC, if a company tells you that they don't have a merchant account, that's a big sign. Merchant account is the ability for a company to be able to process credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, and all that stuff. All right, so you got to make sure that all these factors come into play when you're about to work for somebody. All right. All right, so reputation is huge. I mean, think about this. If they're not fulfilling responsibly and ethically to the people that pay them the money, um, what makes you think they're going to pay you your commission? Let's say that a lot of companies, they're fine, giving you $1,000 for commissions because you made that money the week before. But what happens when you have a $10,000 week, let alone when you have a $20,000 payment? I am reluctant to work with companies that pay once a month for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not the incentive the salesperson, and this is something that a lot of new companies, people that do not understand the psychology of salespeople, they want to make a ton of money. They want to have the best closers working with them. But I notice that these people are novices. They're neophytes in the art of sales. And they say, well, we're going to pay everybody once a month. You're taking motivation away from the salesperson, right? Salespeople love to see their paychecks. If not every week, every 2 weeks. You should not extend a paycheck out once a month. I'm a little reluctant. If you have the choice to go with a company that pays you every 2 weeks or every week and one that pays you every month, what happens if for some reason they go bankrupt? They never told you, and now they go out of business and you have a $20,000 paycheck for that month. And now good luck collecting that money. And I'm sure you would have gone, if you're making $15,000, $20,000, your lifestyle is going to be a little bit demanding as far as the bills, and not having $20,000 until you find, right? It's problematic. So make sure that the reputation also bleeds into the internal affairs of the company and how they're going to deal with you. All right. I'm not saying every company that pays once a month will screw you out of your paycheck. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you want to take the risk and you have done the research and the company's a good company, has good reviews, chances are they just pay once a month. In the beginning, it's going to suck, especially if you start like on the 5th or the 9th when they just got paid. You're going to have to suck it up for like a month until you get paid. But once you get the rhythm, I mean, you get $10,000, $15,000 in one paycheck. That's phenomenal. And you have enough money to, I mean, unless you go and spend $10,000 on one weekend, but you're going to be able to recover pretty quick because you're going to be able to make sales. So very important to understand that, guys. Right? Let's talk about the second point here, commissions. This is another typical way. Commissions must be paid on time. I worked for a company, and I'm not talking about when I started. I was a veteran. I already owned businesses. I retired for 8 years, came back to train and to all that stuff. So I started working with this guy. It was an e-commerce offer, and I was making great money there, right? And I was, the guy his company was pretty much dead when I came in as far as sales. I mean, he had a lot of great customers, great lead, but the salespeople didn't understand how to sell high ticket. So I came in, organized the whole thing, trained a new batch of people, and we started making money. But the problem is, this guy, every time that I knew I had to get paid, he was, and here's the thing, it was kind of weird because this guy, I mean, he sent me cash, like from Western Union. It was not formal or professional at all. But we did become kind of friends, right? The guy and I hit it off. He was a great guy. He's a good guy, very charismatic. But my commissions were not paid on time. Every single time. Sometimes I had to wait 3 days. Sometimes, one time, he owed me a big chunk of money, and he said, "Oh, can I pay you this?" And I was like, "No installment payments." His name almost slipped out, but I'm not going to say his name. And here's the thing. I think that as much as had, as much as I cared about the guy, and I still do, I believe that the only reason why he paid me was because I was making him money. Because he was screwing everybody else, every single person. And I got tired of taking money away from people. And when I realized this, I said, I'm scamming people. I need to get out of here. One, because it's not the right thing to do. Two, because it's going to ruin my name. So I separated quickly. I separated myself from him. He did end up owing me a little bit of money. I was not, I didn't care, but the principle of it, right? So if a company is not on time and it gives you kind of the run around as far as when they're going to pay you, what time, it's a bad sign. And as soon as you combine the fact that the company is not paying you on time and giving you chunks of money here and there, with the complaints they're having and people being pissed, especially if they call you and complain, then it's time to get out of that company. It's not worth it. They're going to ruin your name, and it's not worth. It's. I mean, you're hurting people. You're hurting families, people that trust you, right? Because you create rapport. You create a way of for them to look up to you as a guide of instructions, of knowledge, and then that's committing moral fraud and scamming people. It's just not right. It's not right. So you got to be careful. Not because we're salespeople, that means we're scammers, right? And this is the reason why a lot of people out there hate salespeople, is because salespeople tend to cross the line. Closers, on the other hand, maintain integrity, and that's one of the things. We're not hungry, right? When you hear that someone is hungry, I'm hungry. All these little things. I'm a money chaser. Scratch that. That's stupid. If you're chasing money, you never get it. You never catch it. Tell me you're a money catcher, and that's a different game. But you're chasing money is like a dog chasing a car. Right? So important to realize what you're doing and stay away from those people, because they're money hungry. I'm hungry, right? When people are hungry, that means that if a lion is hungry, when a lion needs to eat, it goes and hunts what it typically hunts. But when it's hungry, when he's starving, he's going to eat whatever walks, whatever moves, right? Doesn't matter. He's going to go for it. So what I'm trying to say is salespeople that are hungry are dangerous, and they start lying on them. You got to be careful with that. But anyway, that's not the topic today. We'll talk about that some other time. How to protect yourself from scammers out there. A lot of scammers, guys. Be careful, all right? Be careful. And there are a lot of dumb companies that they hire closers, and I don't understand why, when they don't really have anything going on, okay? The third point is bring your own leads, and we pay you 10%. If you see any advertisement, I'm pretty sure there are industries where it's very common, and because of the nature of the business, people, salespeople, or closers bring their own leads. Or if that's the arrangement, I wouldn't see something weird with, I have a product, go buy your leads, and, you sell the product, and I'll pay you. But it's not going to be 10%. Like if I were to have a product, and I can't think of what kind of product, where you go and get your own leads, you do like affiliates, right? If it's an affiliate market, but affiliates are not typically high ticket, not typically, right? I'm not aware of any affiliate marketing that is, $20,000 or $40,000. I'm sure there are, but I'm sure that the affiliate is not just going to make 10% because he's paying for it. So if you get 10%, bring in your own leads. But for the most part, if you see anybody saying that you got to bring your leads, it's not. Here's what's going on. These are people that don't have any money to invest, or people that like to rip others off. And so they're like, let them bring their own. The greedy people or broke people. Stay away from them. Just stay away. This is your company. This is your product. You create the lead, and you give me the lead. I'll give them a call. You have to have your own merchant account. You have to have your own fulfillment. You have to have, and you got to pay me commissions for the work I do. I perform. All right, so stay away from that. Fourth, chargebacks and refunds taken off commissions. All right, let's talk about this because there's a fairness to this. If you make a sale, let's say that you get paid every week, maybe every 2 weeks, and you make a sale, and the sale falls through for some reason, right? Doesn't stick. Well, it's very easy to understand that if for any reason you made the sale Sunday and you get paid on Monday because you get paid the next week and the sale canceled on Tuesday, I don't blame a company for taking it back, for taking that commission back. All right, I don't think that's bad. Okay, or if it's the next week, I'd say within a month, if the sale pulls out, you got to pay that commission back. That's in all fairness what I think. After a month, it's no longer the problem of the closer if that sale goes south. After a month, it's the responsibility of the company to honor your commission and never take it back. And a lot of these people tell you that, and we're going to talk about with the better part of behavior, people, companies that do get the refund and they hit your next paycheck after a month, outside the month, blaming you for the refund or 2 months or 3 months out. That cannot happen. You cannot work for a company because what happens in fulfillment has to be the responsibility of fulfillment. It's no longer you do your job, which is selling a product. They have to do their job, which is fulfillment. All right, fulfilling the product, the service. If they're not doing a good job, if they're not, or if the person just decided, I just don't want to, give me a refund, I'll do a chargeback. It's not your responsibility because that's your work, right? Within a month, yes, it is your responsibility to refund commissions, in my opinion. Okay, that's why you got to be a good closer so that the sales stick. Now let's talk about the dirty, filthy mother flowers out there, making up refunds or chargebacks and charging you on it. I mean, it's already bad enough if a company is getting chargebacks and they're charging you after 3, 4, 5 months, after 2 months, or after a month. That's already filthy. Imagine those companies that will come back asking for money back when they haven't gotten a refund or a chargeback, right? That's not fair. There is a writer here that I want to make sure that I talk about it because I think it's hilarious. There are actual companies out there. And if you ever find or come across a company like this, do yourself a favor. Do not work for a company like this. So this is what they do. They think they're really smart. And what they're doing, and I met a guy who was like a preacher, like the way he talked, he was always thanking God and being, praising God and how much he was ripping salespeople off because what he did is he took the sale, he got you as a closer, but he was an agency, so he wasn't even the principal. He was just the outsourced point for various coaches and mentors. So what he wanted is everybody to self-finance. Now, when you sell a product, let's say you're selling coaching for stock market, right? You sell the stock market coaching, that's one sell. When you have to add on top of that the fact that you're going to make him apply for financing, that's a different sell. A lot of people, especially when they have good credit scores, they already have credit cards. I can pay for this. and you had to push for the finance. All right. And here's what the problem was. So your commission with this company was 10%. He was going to pay you after a $12,000 sale. He was going to pay you 10%. As soon as the finance kicked in, right? So as soon as the money, so you made the sale today, right? And the person starts assuming that the person was going to sign up and get the loan. You had to wait 30 days to get your money for the sale that you made today. 30 days later, when the guy got approved, and they gave people the money. On top of this, there was another financing with people with 640 credit score. And these people were only approved for $8,000. You know what he did? He punished you, not him. He thought it, because the financing company wouldn't pay more than whatever percentage, and he was paying people only like 3%, like ridiculous. So not only was he punishing you for selling the financing, which was the only option you had, but also he was only paying you on the product that you were selling. So if you're selling two products at the same time, I need to get paid for two products. So if I'm selling the coaching plus financing, I need to get paid for those two. Am I making sense, guys? Write comments, right? If it's not making sense, let me know. But it's important to understand, if I sell coaching and also financing, and I only let you sell the financing, not credit cards, I don't want you to process credit cards, I have to pay you on both. I have to give you commission. Instead of taking commissions away from you, I have to give you an additional commission because that company is making money on the financing. In fact, they're making a ton of money. Financing is what the money is at. So a company like that is ripping you off. Doesn't matter how much they talk about God and they love God, right? They're ripping you off. A lot of people use the front of believing in God when they're ripping you off. You got to be careful. And a lot of companies are coming out with the whole Christian thing, and you got to be careful with that too, because it becomes, I don't know that overplaying the spiritual side in business is a sign of honesty. And it's because people that are shady and scammers, they want to give you the perception that they are good people, and that's the fastest way to scam somebody. So you got to be careful. I'm not saying all of them. I'm pretty sure they're very honest and good people that they just want to be they want to represent what they believe, and they want to do it with people like them, like them. But you got to be careful. Where you have human beings, you have to look out for it. All right. Excellent. Let's go to the next one. 5th point. Unilateral commissions, changes without you knowing, that take away profit for you. So you make 10%. Now, high ticket should not be, if you're a closer, should not be 5%, should not be 7%, should be 10% at least. In fact, if you're a closer, it should be on a scale. And a lot of companies that are coming out are ripping people off, and salespeople that are brand new, they don't know. I heard a girl advertising, high ticket sales training, and she was saying, if a company is paying you 5 to 10%, it's a great way to. No, 5% is not. If you're a setter, yes. I mean, you're a setter, right? You need to understand your entry level, but they got to pay you at least base or enough commissions for you to be willing to work yourself up to become a closer. So, anybody who changes your commissions so that today's 10%, tomorrow's 5% with no merits, stop working for that. If a company is asking you or giving you a penalty because no one can give you a penalty, and this is the reason why remote sales are kind of a catch-22, because they can slip away from the legal system, especially if you don't know how to get companies to be responsible. And most salespeople, I'd say 99% of the workforce in high ticket sales, they have no idea how to make a company responsible for something they do wrong with you. It's not really that complicated. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want people to go and do bad things to companies just because they're pissed off. But yeah, there are ways to get companies to be out of business, to get them shut down. They're easy ways, right? If you know what you're doing. Even with the one company that I told you, the guy wouldn't pay me on time. I never did anything with that company because, it's just, I just didn't do it, right? So if a company fines you, right, we're going to give you a fine for not making 200 dials. They can't do that. Under the law, they cannot do that. If you've signed a contract, they can't do that. Or we're going to ding, $500 off your commission for whatever reason. Or they're just going to, no company in the United States, and I believe it's for Canada as well, I'm just going to stick to the United States, can ever ding you or fine you for whatever reason, monetarily speaking. They can fine you as far as we're going to give you less leads, or if you're doing something repetitively that's not wrong and they don't want to fire you yet, they want to give you a penalty. They can reduce your commissions, but they can never charge you for a mistake. That's fact check this, because that's the way it is, right? And sixth, last but not least, lead quality bait and switch. Manipulation with leads, the same thing, right? You made good money the week before, and somebody who's a preferred closer, and this happened to me. I was with a company. The company had trouble growing. Like, they couldn't grow. They called me twice, and the two times that I came in, I put him on the map. The first time they kind of faded out because of leads. They called me back. I trained their entire team. They were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And there was one guy there that they, for some reason, they had the hots for him, even though I came before he did. And the guy was not really a smart closer. He was never closing. I had to push him. It took me 3 years. I don't know if it was because he was dumb, because I don't think he was dumb. He's smart. I think he was just full of ego, and he thought he could do it better until he decided to do it my way. And that's when he started closing full pace. And then he went and said, I want his job. I want to be the manager. I want to be the trainer. I want what he has. And because of that, I had to separate. Of course, I didn't separate myself without getting paid. I was well taken care of, but they did that, right? They baited me with a position where I was making handsome amount of money, and then they gave it to somebody who was not qualified to do it. But anyway, that's neither nor here or there, right? They have their executive decisions, and I respect that. But I did have a good run. And by the way, I respect these people. I'm grateful because they gave me a great opportunity. I made mistakes. with the company as well. So, but it was not. I don't think you got to be careful with how guys don't ever come into a company. If you're experienced, if you know what you're doing, come and train for free. Because a lot of companies, what they do is they smooth you out, right? They treat you like you're awesome, and they start asking you to, help the guys, and then all of a sudden, from helping the guys, now you're training, and then Nobody's paying you. Don't do that. This is intellectual property where you're helping people generate hundreds of thousands of dollars and not millions. Get paid. And say, hey, I'm doing this work. I'm not willing to do this work for free, right? To a certain degree, you can help them out, but when it starts becoming a routine, you need to get out of that because you're going to lose a lot of money. Everything that you learn, if you're selling intellectual property that someone learned to make money, now they're teaching other people, charging $10,000, $15,000 for other people to learn, and you're making them $100,000, $200,000 a week because of your skills, then they better pay you just like they want to get paid for their knowledge. You have knowledge, you got to get paid for your knowledge. All right, guys. So keep in mind these, and there are more things. We'll talk about them throughout the time that we spend together. It's been a great life. I'd love to help you guys. My name is Jaden. I'm the founder of Black Label Closers. You can go to www.blacklabel-closers.com. You can sign up for, we have a $97 product training value there for $1,000 down to $97. We have a free course. Also go to School, SKOOL. Ask questions. I can respond to those questions. I can help you, give you pointers here and there. And you can see us here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are also on Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place, right? Facebook, Black Label Closers. All right, guys, I want to challenge you to, guys, and look, I have a bunch of lives that are posted. That's a free course right there, guys. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's a free course right there, all right? So you guys can start going there. If you go through a training, live training that's been recorded, ask questions. I'll answer the questions, all right? Make comments. One more time, I want to say hi to the people that attended today. Thank you for coming. We have 90%, I think 100% females today. That makes me feel very good, like a rock star. And, well, hope to see you here, guys, next Thursday. We're going to talk about some exciting things, all right? In the meantime, stay cool. Don't do anything I wouldn't. And see you Thursday at 7 p.m.